Hello guys, welcome back to the crew 2. Noob does summit number 23. A bit later than usual, and the reason was that I was thinking about it. It is pretty okay to do this on Wednesday like most YouTubers do it. But yeah, we started this series with basically no parts. Meanwhile, we have some parts, and yeah, it's pretty easy to do it on Wednesday and then become into the top 10 or top 5 or whatever. And then if you look at the ranking of all those YouTubers by the end of the week, they're somewhere in the top 100, but that's about it. So I thought we'd do it a couple of days later and see how that goes. Where can you finish if you do it like on a Saturday, right? The idea, of course, is at least to get in the top 100, but we will see how go or how bad it will go. We will see. First, as always, pick up the stuff from last week. 88 we finished with 1.336. That is sort of where you finish. But yeah, there was not that much to win. Some followers, some scrap, a tire, and some smoke. Bit of vanity stuff, not really what we're going for. Then we come to the October summit, a premium summit, and that is Brawn versus Beauty. 400,000 followers, a Ford Mustang GT Rallycross edition. That is a new car, in such a way that it's a new spec. A Nitro Chemist set, this time that means 7 parts for motocross, with ventilated and bender on it. Ventilated, pretty good. If you take the jumps, that is, if you do not cut like an idiot. The bender is something you probably best to replace with some nitro power or something. And a Ferrari F12 Tour de France. But yeah, that's not the car that you see on the picture there. That is just an F12 Berlinetta. But we will see. Next week we have the Porsche Addict also there. The remaining parts of the boosted set that we got last week. We got 3 or 4 parts. This is the remaining that you will get next week. Porsche 959 a rate for those who don't have it. For those who already have it, you just will get the box instead and some yellow light smoking. 9 to October 16th, Coast to Coast. The long anticipated Mini Counterman in rally rate. Pretty good car in the Crew 1, but for some reason or another it did not make it into this game till this moment in time. That is for that. And then smoking tires, October 16th to 23rd, the Koenigsegg Agera R Drift Edition. Not even sure. I don't think that also was one of these things that was missing. So and that also means that is the end of batch number 2 by that time. That's why you will see coming soon. It doesn't say anything because they will repeat the next 3 weeks after that. They will repeat the first premium summit, but they still have to load them into the game, I'm guessing. And we have the Rainbow Tempest Smoke, which is something which is new, I think. But they sort of also in the shop, these vanity items, they sort of switch every week or every 2 weeks or something. So over time they will come back to buy if you miss them out or something. Also this Mazda RX-7 Drift Edition, some customization parts. No offense you a soft ivory tower, but that is also pretty useless because most people have the Drift RX-7 because it's one of the better drift cars next to something like a BMW Z4 or so, but most people have that car, so they also want the bumpers and the stickers and all that kind of stuff. So that customization pack is also not that interesting. That is my opinion. If you're into customization and vanity, you're very happy with all these things, but in the upcoming weeks the only thing I'm interested in is that Mini Counterman. Want to see how that does. For this week, let's have a look. Low altitude speed trap escape. We need to buy some stuff for which we do not have the money. We can buy one of the 2 Ferraris. We do not have the money for the other one, so we have to gain the money by doing events in the summit to be able to buy that other car. but we will see. Of course, the benefit of doing this on a Saturday is pretty simple actually. That means that you can have a look on the leaderboard and see what sort of the familiar names are doing. Because if we look at the overall leaderboard, the difference if you do this on a Monday or Sunday or something, or in this case a Saturday, you will have way more people ranked than when you do this on a Wednesday morning, obviously. 1,388 is seems to be pretty close here, 100 points different, not even, to those first two guys. So we see the top 10, we see some familiar names. That also means that they have done all the events. Also a difference with if you do this on a Monday morning, on a Wednesday morning, is that they will not have ranked. They will be ranked, you will have certain players ranked 2,000-3,000 players or something, they have done one or two events, and that's it. But if you do this in the weekend, then most people have done all the events, and then you sort of get a better insight in what is going on. This low altitude, let's have a look. $56,870, $56,850, 56,000 points. They seem to be scoring, most of them at least. So let's have a look. So I'm guessing we need 50,000 plus. Kings Canyon, okay. Nice, just touch it. Yeah, if I did not touch that bridge, I probably would have had something like that. Let's see what 51,000 gives us. 155,000 points. That is more than enough for a skill test. If you can score 155, 156,000, it's all fine. 157,850 points is the maximum that you can score in any skill test anyway. So that is obviously good enough. Speed trap, yeah, also that bit boring. Take a drag car, 719.9 probably. Let's have a look. Of course, 719.9. That is exactly what the players score, at least those that have been doing it with a bit of slipstream and such. So let's have a look. Wonderful. I mean, you can drive to here because I already know that this thing is something we already done. The parts are on this car, all fine. Saturday. Sleepy people standing in the middle of the road. Finally kicked in. The frenetic 690, 700, something like that you can do. Of course it's easier to do it with slipstream, and then you do a few runs, you have 719.9 if you have a bit of a good team around. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that because that needs to be 719.9 anyway, so 130,000, that will do for now. What are people scoring in the escape? 4,500 I see here, 4,700 for first place. So I'm assuming that will be something with a boat. It is something with a boat. Our parts are on this boat because that's the thing that we used last week. So we take the parts up and we put them on the Prauschner. Let's see. Normally it will always be the last part, I think. Yep, indeed. Settings. That seems to be still okay. Might have to change it a little bit. Where are people going? That's always a question. Left or right? $120,000. That's a bit low. Let's test the other side. Okay, a bit of bumping. Interesting. Very interesting. It is that way, that's for sure. Because the ghost that we had was the guy in first place. Nice. Very nice. Top scores go left, yeah, I've noticed that. I think I have to change the settings. Or slow down. It's also a possibility. And then where we go? To the small river. By the look of it. Oh my god. Okay. And then where we go? Left here. 125. We're moving up a little bit. Yeah, I need to change settings. It changed settings because it's leaning to the left and to the right too much. 126,000. Out too much this boat. I don't like it at all, as usual. When there's like some sort of OP vehicle, I don't like it. For the same in the crew one with that Pagani Huayra, I've been driving it for 4 years, did not like that car at all. The same with this boat. It's the fastest thing around. But that's the only thing. Other than that, it's a big ass boat. The gear adjustment pulls out every freaking time. Every time. It drifts away to the right side. Thanks for the follow, Kikimi. Oh my god. Oh my god, my god. The problem I have with these things is that, like, you do like a drift event or so with the car, and then you come to something which has lots of corners, and then these things steer better. That is like, yeah, explain me that one. Physics boys over there in Lyon. I hear it drifts away constantly. Here you just need to be. Okay, I think I got it. You have to steer away in advance, of course, like usual. So I have to drift through the corners probably on this track. Goes a bit downhill as well. And more than likely have to slow down on that narrow section. So steer now. Yep. Now you make the corner and push yourself out. Got it. And here you need to be lucky that it bounces up the other side. Because with this big ass boat, it's just too narrow. But the problem is you have to use it because there's nothing coming close to it top speed wise. Goes over 400, probably the only boat that it does. Because yeah, the problem is this. We see the nose, right? But the boat is twice as wide as the nose. That's the problem. Drop boat. Yup. Yup. That's what you have if you steer too soon. That's the problem I have with this boat. It is so freaking random. You can steer on the exact same point on the exact same tree, and you do 3 runs in a row, it will do 3 times something different. Sometimes you touch the sides, sometimes you don't. Move, man, move. And the wonderful weather changes. If I ever see Fergus again, we're gonna have a serious discussion about that weather, that's for sure. Which he finds wonderful. There he goes again. Almost made it. Such a wide boat, but not wide enough to hit the gate. Yeah, I'm driving. Oh my god. What a pitch black corner. Yep. That seems to be, he smoothly steers left, right, controller probably, or wheel. $4,300. 3 corners, that's what this whole track comes down to. 129,000. That will do for now. What else do we see? We are, I think we are still on manual after that speed trap. The West Commercial Bushimura event. And this thing, okay. Yeah.
3, 2,
Few things we have to do. First, change the camera. Go back to the summit. Because we can't drift in a car with no parts, eh? So we have to get the parts from our little Mazda here and put them in the big ass Mustang, which might be a problem on a corner or 2, 3. City track, West Bushimura. But they forgot to take away 1 or 2 of the light posts. If you hit them, you lose your multiplier.
three, two, one.
Not that it matters that much, I think. Oh yeah, it does matter. It does matter that you're driving in a Mustang, because the car is still white.
3, 2, 1.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
3,
American piss pot cars. Why do they never work in a game?
1.
One little footpath you touch and you're like completely all over the place. Should not even move. It's like a heavy car, especially compared to the Mazda. It's like a heavy car. It shouldn't like. Yep. Jesus. again. Too white. I tapped the wall with the rear of the car.
2, 1.
Steering in a Mustang is also wonderful.
3, 2,
Rather use the Ford GT if I have to use an American. Definitely a better drift car than this thing. There he goes again. Yeah, of course. That was like a Pispa triple corner. I think you can best drive in reverse.
3, 2, 1.
And I'm just trying to do like smooth drifting round, because you even have to go, if you want to score really high, you have to go even slower. Slower and use the handbrake to get more points. That kind of piss belt. This is like really, this is not a corner for the Mustang. Like here, why is that light post still in the middle of the thing? It's like, sorry to say, but it's like just bad programming. Close down the track in a city, then also take away that one light post. You have to go so slow to make it smoothly drift, and then eventually you don't have enough power in like a stupid corner, and then it pulls the car straight. Really. Sometimes the game frustrates me, as you can see. And here,
3,
I did not touch that wall, I'm 100% sure. but you have these magnetic fields. If you come too close to another car or a wall, it just pulls you in there. So the same thing that happens in PvP. Not everybody in there is like intentionally ramming you, but it's just like that magnetic field. If you come too close to another obstacle, it magnetizes you into it. Pit corners again. You have to go wide because there is also there is still a light post in the corner. Okay, go a bit slower here. Almost lost it. Here you also have to go wide, otherwise you hit that light post there. And as we know, this car also does not like the footpath. Will get a bit more about. Whatever. Shut up, Ringa. Thanks for the follow. 634,000. That will do. 155,000 points. 156,000. If you score 800,000 points in the drift, you score 156 or something like that. I don't even know. So also that doesn't matter that much. Whatever you score above 500,000 is fine enough. There will be barely any difference between that. Also here, 157,850 is the maximum you can score. I think it's not only in the skill test. It's also in something like drift. Anything which is point based, the maximum you can score is 157,850. So we are 2,000 points underneath that. That's fine. Just speed trap. We need to do that with a bit of slipstream. Then we also have 155,000 there. The escape. If we put our time and effort into it, we will also get to 4,500 plus. So also there. That is sort of the weekly start where you can score, in this case, an easy 600,000 points or somewhere close to it. 571,000, we have 3 skill tests, 1 drift event. The rest is about time, and probably here and there some piss pot. We have a Ferrari touring car and we have the 4GT LMS. We can do that. Then we have 2 street races, which Ferraris which we do not have, and down a Ford. What are people using in the 4GT, 4GT, 4GT? I see here like in the few friends that I have on this driver friends list. 4GT, 4GT, okay, I think it is pretty clear it is the 4GT. Which is a car which we do not have, I think. Let's have a look. We can use, for instance, this Mustang, of course not in drift, but in street race spec. Let's see, what Fords do we have? That's always on this driver, not that many, I think. Probably gonna end up with something like a Focus. We have the Shelby GT500. Could use that. We have the Mustang GT Fastback. We could use that. It's a good chance that's about it. Yup. I fear that is about it. Yep, it is indeed it. What we also need to do is figure out what have we been using last. This is a muddy set. The parts are still on the Lamborghini. We're not going for records, we're just going for a time, right? So we're gonna use one of those two. I'm assuming the Mustang will be faster than the Shelby. $1.3 million. We need to get to around 1.7, I think, to buy those two Ferraris. So we cannot afford it to buy the Ford GT. So we're gonna have to do it in one of these things that we have. And it even only gives me this Ford, which is kind of strange because the the other Shelby is under. It's a Ford Shelby GT 500, but it's under the old one is under the Shelby brand, but the 2013 version, Ford Shelby GT 500, that is under the Ford brand. So why can't we not use that if this event is limited to Ford?
I'll stop talking so you start driving.
Wonderful, wonderful. Track cars, drift, we drive in manual. All the rest we drive in automatic. But then you need to put that on, obviously. Hey Capsan, what's up? Not much for the moment.
1.
Other than a bit of piss pot apparently.
Go, go, go!
Nice.
You just took the lead.
Almost. We almost made it. Because yeah, that's what frustrates me the most. Piss pot placement of these checkpoints. Some of these tracks like this is a pretty interesting twisty track. but not with the way they put the place these checkpoints. You cut every corner. So the checkpoints are placed on the long straight, more or less. There. $3:26. I'm pretty sure the cutters will go under 3 minutes here. $128,000. Not even that bad. Point wise, that is. Time wise, it's a piss spot time, but. What are they doing here? 257. Yeah, of course. Shortcutting, resetting, slipstreaming. 257. Touring car, that is also not very promising. Ferrari touring car. Yeah, that's not that bad. We can use the FX XK. Well, I say very confidently, but I'm not even sure that I have it on this driver. What was this here? What is this? Oh yeah, the Sharon Carbon edition, because also on this driver we meanwhile made it to Icon 1000. So that thing came into the garage. We do have the car. The problem is where are the parts? Disappeared. Paradise. On the McLaren, there you can see that this is my second driver. This McLaren, that's like a couple of weeks ago that we have used that thing. And the parts were still on that car. I only use this driver basically to do the Summit Noob series. Kinda normal. What track is it? The Giant Shaboom Cup. Okay. Oh, we can use also this thing. They gave it to us with a gold medal or so, or silver even. I don't even know. I think it was gold. We won that thing from the summit. Like a couple of... Oh, wonderful. Seriously. Me neither, with this bit spot weather. Why is even somebody bothering? Indeed. Unbelievable. hear that knock? The magnetic walls was there again. Too close to the wall and it magnetizes it into the wall. Every time. What's that weather, seriously? If you don't have proper headlights, don't make events at night. Seriously. Boost ourselves out of the corner because not too much boost because then you have wheels spinning up, of course, because of the stupid rain. Why don't you go straight? Weather and steering. Those are two frustrating things occasionally for me in this game. Hello, Thomas. Yeah, it's not going great. Getting a bit frustrated with this bispat shit. Nighttime I can live with, but why does it have to be rain every time on one or two of these events? Okay, where are we? 834,000 points. With 3 events to go and a bonus, so there is like about 400,000 points at least somewhere in there. Then we have this thing, which means we need to change the parts again. Because obviously, being a second driver, but even on my main driver, would not make that much of a difference. I don't have the time nor the money to keep grinding for sets so that I have like sets for every car or whatever. Obviously, and especially not if you're driving around with two drivers and doing some other stuff on the side. That is not possible. So we have to change the parts every time. It's this one. But does it matter what car it is? I fear not. I fear not, because it's an Alpha GP. We'll see. It's a touring car, obviously, but it's an Alpha GP track. It's a combo event. Which one is it? Miami racetrack, of course. That's the only one they know. Let's see. Yeah, we knew it is this car. Thank you for showing me my only choice that I have.
2, 1.
So, gonna win this one.
Another one of my frustrations. Why are these stupid bots even in this thing other than to bother us?
That's it. You're winning.
Oh yeah, that's the turnaround thing, isn't it? You can turn around there and then reset and all that kind of piss pot. We're not gonna bother with that. Just gonna set a time here and done. I'm not gonna bother about too much with those tracks anymore because they don't listen to us anyway. They know it's a problem, the checkpoints, but they will not replace them. So yeah. They will in future new tracks and so, but the piss pot that we have is gonna remain piss pot, so that is like, yeah. End of discussion then, I guess. So keep resetting. And some of them are not that much work. You just like put 2 or 3 checkpoints extra and the whole thing is solved. Can't be that hard for a programmer to put an extra checkpoint here or there. And in this case it's just 1 and 2 because you do like a couple of laps on the same track. So it's not like they have to put in 10 checkpoints. But yeah, it's not their priority, obviously. The competitive side of this whole thing is, or the reality of it is that competitive side of the whole game is, I don't know, 25% of the community, I guess. So it's not on the priority list, and the same goes with PvP. Not high on their priority list because it's not the majority of the field. Majority are kids and casuals. And they are happy with whatever. As long as they can ram each other, everything is fine. Also here, with a piss pot run, hitting walls, about 130,000. If you have the yellow parts and you have the car, on average, by now, after 4 months or so into the summits, you should be able to score 125, 130,000 points in all of these events, at least. 964,000. We're already into the platinum. And we still have 2 events to do. So now we can choose what to do. One of the 2 Ferraris. We can buy all 2 of them, but not at the same time. I can buy the hypercar, which is going to Vegas. That is also a wonderful track. Jesus Christ. Or I can buy this one, which is Center Woods to Amarillo. At least that's a bit interesting. So we will start by buying this F12 Berlinetta. I'm not going to buy the bundle because there is also a Ford Focus in there that I don't want and stuff like that. Okay, so Bundle, yeah. I can buy this one, 547, or I can buy this one, 812 for 1.2 million. And this is the summit reward. That's how it properly looks like, instead of on the picture on the summit thing. The F12 Tour de France, which is also a hypercar. So we'll just buy this thing. Buy it. Oh, Jesus. 15,000 different colors, but yeah, a Ferrari is a Ferrari. And a Ferrari should be red, right? Which brings us down to 835,000. So we need about 400,000 more to get that other Ferrari, but... settings. That's a good question. Do we have settings? For that F12. Street race. No, we don't. So we're gonna have to figure it out as we go. I do have settings on my other driver, but apparently I did not take a screenshot of it. Which is wonderful. Oh, so here's... we need to switch a bit with the parts. I still have 2 frenetics in there, 3 frenetics even, I think. I just noticed. The A12, not sure where it comes from. A12 was in Elite Bundle number 1, which came with the update in December with the Demolition Derby, I think. They brought in the Elite Bundle, which had like a Formula 1 car, the Red Bull Disruption Edition, I think. This 812 Elite Bundle number 1. That's where that A12 was in, but the Berlinetta that was just in the game from the beginning, I think, if I remember correctly. I could check that in my list, but not now. Because I have a list with like all the information in there when this and that came into the game, but I cannot check it here now. Because there is more information than there is out there, let's put it that way. Brakes. That's fine. Everything is on there now. Yeah, usually it will be 0 or 1. Doesn't make that much difference. Yeah, it's 0 or 1. Gearbox. 338, 342. Let's go in again, because it seems to have, that's what I thought. 364, 369, 374. It kinda suggests a gearbox on 8. We'll see about that. Usually it's 9, but the brake power we'll just leave it be. Suspension we just go with like 2, 3, 2, 4. That's what I usually start with. Camber all the way to the left. Anti-roll bars 810 or 910, and then go lower if needed. And the brake balance, whatever gives us the lowest number. Probably gonna go towards the rear as well. 1845, 17, 16, 15. Yeah, gotta also 1419, 1391. Also on 1. Gives us the lowest number. 1391. Okay, let's start with that. We're probably gonna have to make some changes. Probably the rebound front, the compression in the rear probably needs to go higher. And the anti-robot we might have to come down, depending on how this thing handles or not. We will see. And of course we just bought a car, also one of those wonderful things that you're suddenly outside and you have to drive back inside. Seems to be okay. Brake seems to be okay as well. Feels a little bit stiff, but maybe we put the anti-robot at 8-9 or so. We will see. Once we do the track. Central Woods to Amarillo. Oh, isn't that the one with that one or two long straights? Yeah, probably gonna have to put the gearbox up then. Salut young Joe. Bonsoir.
Three, two, one.
Listen to the engine. Say.
Just frustrating that you always have to swirl through those bots in the beginning, and other than that you don't see them on the rest of the track. So why are they even here? Yeah, also this is like a cutting field track, of course, because of, again, bad placement of the checkpoints. This is probably even a thing that you do with a team in Slipstream. If you have some decent drivers, of course, because if you do this, this is not like rally raid where you can ghost, you can hit each other here. Oh, come on, really? Half an inch next to it? Doesn't count. Pretty sure it counts on the outside, they all do, but I guess I was a bit too far away from it. That was pretty good. Oh, come on. Oh. Wrong corner. That was the wrong corner that I cut there. I thought it was this one which you can sort of cut. And then we drive through Amarillo to finish. And get some gas. That seems to be a piss pot score. So I guess we have to do this one again. 104,000, that's not good enough. 251 you're doing here. Wonderful. We're aiming for 125,000 or something like that.
3,
Score wise, that is. So I guess we need a time around 310 or so.
Faster. Seriously, go faster.
Which probably means I have to for the longer straights get that gearbox up a bit. We'll stay a little bit more on the road maybe. Yeah, we're not going fast enough. Gearbox needs to be on 10 probably on this track. Yes, corners. Not the favorite of the keyboard players in this game. Random weather again. So we have free roam weather again. But hey, don't mention the weather. That's how they want it. Not in this event. That's apparently that's a bug. They have no intention in it. These summit events should have fixed weather, but as you can see, they don't. That will do. "13 seconds faster than the first time." We concentrate a bit. And we scored 200,000 points more. Obviously we have to change the gearbox to get higher speeds on the longer straights. 10 might not be necessary, but definitely 9. Which is something that I will do now. Get the wonderful parts as well, obviously. Other than that, let's have a look. So we have a serious money problem. We're also gonna have a serious money problem at the first bunch of the third batch of summits starts. There's no way we're gonna get 5 million by then on this driver. We might be able to get 100,000 crew credits by the end of the third batch. That will be fine. We changed the gearbox to 9. On 10 it's gonna die out, I think, acceleration wise. So I'm gonna put it on 9. That will do. Other than that, these settings kinda okay. Kinda okay. Which also means take a screenshot of it to put in the files of the setups that I use. Where are we? 1,088,000 points. We are rank 2000. On a Saturday evening, that's not that bad. Especially seeing we still have to do this event and we're gonna get an 100,000 points bonus. So we're gonna get 288,000 at least. And probably in that hypercar we probably score 125 to 130,000 points as well. So presumably we're gonna be around 1.3 million again. Let's have a look. 1.3 million. Anybody has 1.3 million or close? Wonderful. 1.1 I see here. I think we're gonna do better. Nope. First go out, then go in again. That works better. All top players. $350 for the top 50 sorta. Top 100. 1,324,000 is the top 100 at Saturday evening. So that's not that bad. Platinum wise, yeah, at the moment it is at 921,000, which is pretty low, even for a premium summit where you can win in 2 new cars, basically, because as well the Ford Mustang Rallycross as the Ferrari are. The Ferrari is a new car, and the Mustang is a new spec, so both of them are in a way new cars. So that score is gonna go up for sure. There are of course as always with stuff that is new, like Summit, compared to the beginning there are some less players, but still it's gonna be somewhere over 20,000 on PC for sure by Tuesday evening. So the score is gonna go up, but I find it pretty low at the moment. Even on a Saturday evening, 921 the platinum score. That's pretty low for PC. Normally when it's a premium summit where there's a new car to win or so, by the end of the summit on Tuesday, the score is around 1.2 million somewhere for the platinum. But that is fine. Once we grinded some money to get that last car, we will have about 1.3 million and guaranteed the platinum. So even if we do this on a Saturday evening, it still doesn't tell us that much. Maybe I'll do it next week. I'll let it pass and do it like at the end of the week to see what we can do. Of course, if you do it like on a Tuesday, that is a bit risky, because if something comes up and you can't do it, then then you might miss the summit, you know. Which brings us also to the end of this schedule, let's call it that way, because we have the Brawn versus Beauty this week. Next week Porsche Addict, then we have Coast to Coast, and then we have Smoking Tires. That is more or less the end of batch number 2 of the summits. Then there will be 3 weeks where we have repeats of the summits, and I'm not so sure what I'm gonna do then. I already have all those cars that are in those premium summits, so if I participate and do these sort of videos, yeah, then I'm gonna win the car again. Which of course leaves it out there that people that don't have the car will try to win the car again. They get a second chance. I just want to give those people a second chance, so I'm not gonna participate in those 3 premium summits, which they will repeat at the end of October and the beginning of November. But I will see what I do. I might do some sort of overview to see what is going on event-wise, and then do like 6 or 7 events of those things in such a way, sort of like we did it now. Now we did 8, but that's already too much because we are already in the platinum. So we will do some events and then see where we end up, as long as we do not get the platinum in those repeat summits, then it will be fine. Then just gonna give people a full opportunity to get their second chance. The settings for the FXXK. Let's have a look. The settings for the FXKK. I know there is a filter in this game, but I refuse to use that. As long as they do not give us a favorite filter, I refuse to use that pisspot filter that I have now. So I just scroll through this every time. Car wise, the first 4 are always the same for me. It's 9, 10, 9, 9. The 10, 9, 10, 10. That's how I should say it. That's how I have it on keyboard. That works for me. Only on drift I have different settings, but also those I've shown many times. With the Mazda, and basically I copied these settings from the Mazda to the Mustang to the Ford GT. If I use those in drift, same settings. BMW Z4, same settings. So for all the other cars, street race touring car, I always have it, the first 4 there, I always have it on 10, 9, 10, 10. So if I sometimes I show the screenshots that I've taken in the video or whatever, then yeah, you will not see those first 4, but they're always the same. It's always 10, 9, 10, 10. And here, also in general, the camber always at 0, 0. Otherwise these cars do not steer at all. So that is usually what I start with. The suspension, normally I start with 2, 3, 2, 4. And then if it's off-road or so, yeah, you go way stiffer. I know there are people, they put like these 2 middle ones of the suspension, they put them all the way to 10. That makes the car stiff as hell and understeers like crazy, but it apparently works for them. So apparently on a controller or so that works very good. On a keyboard not so much in my opinion. The gearbox you usually have to come down. By default it's on 10, but usually you have to come down 1 or 2 clicks. Gives better acceleration. Unless the top speed really matters, then then you just put it on 10. But like in this case, it's on a circuit track, so you need a bit more acceleration than you actually need. You never reach a top speed on a circuit track. So that thing does not need to be on 10 for no reason at all. And the aero, yeah, that is a bit playing around with it. Usually it's 0, 1 or 2 most of the time, unless you have a front wheel drive car, then it might be a bit more to the front. But and the anti-roll bars, normally I start at 8 and 10 or 9 and 10 and then come down if it's necessary, which with the Ferrari it was pretty stiff, I think, if I put it on 8, 10. So I came down a bit and I have now ended up with 5, 3. That makes it oversteer a bit, but I rather have a bit of oversteer than understeer. I hate understeer. So that is sort of the specific settings that I have on the FXKK. Junk Flow, you're Flemish, right? Yeah, I am Flemish, so I do understand French and I do speak French, but that is not the normal language that I speak. I speak Flemish, or which is more or less the same as Dutch. So, but not on my channels, YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Even on the game, everything is in English. Because yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, but yeah, it is sort of. What I also play on a keyboard. What I very often do is, even if I hit the brakes, I'm still playing around with the throttle, sort of to keep the RPM up. Because if you just go full in the brakes, you might have some lock up here or there, and then you come out of the corner, you don't have enough power. So even when I'm braking, I tap 2 or 3 times on the throttle, so that you keep the engine going in a way, so that you have power to come out of the corner, because otherwise it does not work very well. And I still think that many of it has to do with the fact that you cannot change anything here. Vibration obviously doesn't matter on a keyboard, but the steering linearity and the steering dead zone and that kind of stuff probably helps if we could even change this, but we can't. Only controller people can do that, which is another proof that this game and this whole menu for that is developed for controller players. A very specific example that I can show you for that is key mapping, general controls. I'm on a keyboard, right? Can somebody tell me where the hell is the L3 and the R3 on a keyboard? It does not mean anything. But unfortunately you have to map it, because it actually is the fast path. So you have to map that on R3. So I now have the G key, and that is my R3. Whatever that is. With the wonderful design of the menu. What do I mean, and what is the R3 is this pisspot shit. Brings up the menu and then you can choose your vehicle. But that of course is then the benefit of the keyboard, is that we can map 3 different buttons. For the car, for the plane. And we just hold those buttons. It immediately switch to the plane or to the boat or to the car. We don't have to open that fast path menu and then select I don't even know how you select it. Oh, okay. Apparently you select it with look up and look down and look left and right or something. I never use that thing. We just use 1, 2 and 3 or whatever it is that you have mapped it. In my case I mapped it on the numpad. Yeah, on the wheel, yeah, okay. I know it's grayed out on the wheel as well, but yeah, you have like your wheel settings on itself, and also your if you drive with like Trustmaster or so, you have the Trustmaster software where you can like fiddle around with the settings a bit, right? But we have nothing. On the keyboard you have nothing except for the Pro settings. So the only thing that we can change to make that car more or less steer is the Pro settings. And that is a bit of a problem though. Meanwhile, yeah, we're also on the end of this video, because I did not find the time to grind more than I did in when did I stream? Monday or so. Did a bit of a stream to grind some money, worked our way up from 200,000 to 1.3 million. I did not have the time to grind some more, and we also did not make enough during this summit review. So we have about 1.1 million. I could do, for instance, whenever I find the time in the next days, I can do a New York race, then we will have enough to buy that 812 hypercar. And then we can do going to Las Vegas. Also that is a repeat of a track, because we already had it, which is yeah kinda normal. After 4 months into the summit you're gonna have repeat of tracks. There are only a certain number of tracks on the game. At one moment or another you're gonna see stuff coming back. The skill test on the other hand is something that seems to be a lack of inspiration a little bit, because there are more skill tests out there on the map than we have done in the summit so far. And also there you see the same skill test coming back. Like for instance the speed trap on the airplane cemetery thing there. That's a repeat because we had it before. I'm pretty sure there are more speed traps out there on the map which we haven't done yet. That is all something yeah, we can easily check. Made a Google document with all the summits in there. For those who have the link to that. There is even some more information in there than it should be, but I also need to find the time to do all things like that. So for instance I have like batch number 3, I have all the names of those summits already put into that file, but it is what it is. The rewards are not in there yet, of course, but if you want to see the names of the summit for some reason, you can always check that. We made it into the top 3000 and we have close to a top 100 if we finish the 812 super fast. If I can find some time tomorrow or so, I will quickly do a New York race, then I have enough, and I will set a score on that thing, and then we will have sort of like what is our new goal. In the beginning when we did this series, we sort of aimed for 1 million points, 1,100,000, sort of that's what we were aiming for. At that time it was also good enough, you know, because there were a lot of people out there. The summit was new, they were not prepared at all. They did not have yellow sets, some of them did not even have upgraded disciplines or certain disciplines which they have not upgraded yet. So obviously that was at that moment in time it's good enough. It's no longer good enough. More and more people have yellow sets, more and more people have all the disciplines upgraded. So obviously, as I expected and also more or less predicted, the summit would only start around this time. Now everybody is playing with the score breakers and with the nitrochemist sets and so on, so the scores go up. That's why we are aiming with this Noob driver, although it's no longer a Noob, we have all the yellow sets, but we are aiming for around 1.3 million now, which still guarantees you the platinum easily. If you can score 1,250,000, 1,300,000, most of the summits you will be in the platinum. Just those where you can win a car, those premium summits in the beginning of the month, like we are doing now, because this, yeah, it's the end of September, but the summit finishes in the beginning of October, so this is sort of the October summit. There's a car to win, then usually the score goes up a bit higher compared to the normal summits, but with 1.3 million, if you can reach that, which is not that hard to do, I did not put like that much effort into any of these runs that I've done here now. I just missed one car, but if I have that car, then I will be around 1.3 million. You are guaranteed platinum even if you do it on a Saturday, as we did now. Because that was the other reason I wanted to test it. Also because due to time schedule this week, but it's easy to do the summit on a Wednesday morning, obviously. You can easily make it into the top 10 or top 5 because most people have not done all the events yet. And if you do that in a video, then of course you will be up there. But then through the week towards the end of the summit, you will drop in the ranking, obviously, unless you improve your scores. Right now about the summits, yeah, that of course was, we knew that it was coming. We knew for a long time that it was coming. That is how it goes. At this moment in time, I'm also a bit of in conflict with them. At least with their policy. I don't agree with the way they communicate at the moment. They put an article out there saying that like there's not coming anything in the next couple of months. That's more or less what they said in the article, which is totally not true. That is something communication wise, they're never that strong, are they? It's always last minute that you get the information, or at least the general public, and then you have a problem. And that was the same with the summit, which was sort of last minute. They sort of announced the hotshots update, and then we could like we could pre-record it and all that stuff, but we could only let you guys see what we had recorded about 24 hours before the actual update came into place. And then of course there were a lot of people who were not prepared. We tried to tell you guys here and there in a video, but we are also bound to NDA, so we can only give you some tips here and there. And then people they either accept your tips or hints, or they don't. That's up to them. Those who read between the lines and understand what we are saying sometimes, they are prepared. Those who think that we are talking a lot of bullshit, those are not prepared. That's more or less what it comes down to. So like I hinted, make sure you have 5 million by the beginning of the 3rd summit batch. Make sure you have 100,000 crew credits by the end of the 3rd summit batch. Why is of course something that we cannot say, but yeah, either you can accept it or not. It's up to you. If you remain inactive, you will be returned to the login. Oh boy. We are not remaining active, but we are going to stop the stream because I don't have the time now to grind for another 400,000 to buy that Ferrari 812. And that's the only event we are missing, so. Summit number 23, Brawl versus Beauty. That's what we did. And we managed to get there. yeah, that's how it is, Thomas. That's exactly how it is. But some people like, oh yeah, he's talking a lot of shit. Yeah. There's only one guy talking a lot of shit, and he thinks the game is dead, so. Yeah, the technical test. Yeah, but that's like, we have some technical tests occasionally if something is coming up. But that is like, that's already to test it. But we usually are already aware of it when it's still in their mind. Let's put it that way. Just like now, we are aware what is coming in the next 12 to 15 months. Of course, they're working on something big, sort of for next year, but before we are ever there, there's quite a bit coming to the game, and things that way will make people happy. But they will communicate with it when the time is there, I guess. I don't know. Communication is something we do not agree on. And of course it also don't help that people who have no clue about it still decide to do a video and then announce that the game is dead. That's also not... it's amusing at the same time because we know what's going on. That's kind of funny what they're all talking about because they have no idea what they're on about. They're just like talking a lot of trash out of their neck. But the problem is that a lot of people take some of those people for granted. And those are all part of the people that will not be prepared. That's how it was with the summits as well. Those guys were doing videos like, oh, there's nothing coming, and suddenly there was the hotshots and none of them were prepared. Yep. Yeah, but that's normal. Eh? Those guys are on the more or less on the payroll of EA. Eh? So everything which is not Need for Speed at the moment is dead for them, because they have the hype, you know. They have been invited by them to E3 or Gamescom or whatever, and they now have to hype the new Need for Speed. That's how it goes, or whatever else is coming out. Wouldn't surprise me one of those days that one of those guys, I was gonna make a video of FIFA 20 or something. But that's how it is, eh? I just stick to this game. Yeah, that's the thing with the... Yeah, but you have some of them are very very hard-headed. Everybody found Payback a bit of a trash game, but there was guys. BP kept it going for like a year, I think, claiming that it was a really good game. Eventually he gave in. Then he sort of did a video like, yeah, it was not really that good. It's all fine, all these videos out there, but yeah, if you don't know what you're on about, then don't make a video about that game. I will not do that many videos about Need for Speed because I'm not following the news. I saw the trailer and I saw more than enough for me that it's a combination of Need for Speed 2015, which I didn't even buy because of what it was, and the Payback, which I did buy, and that was once more a mistake I made because it was just a trash game. And if you combine those two games, then you're sort of gonna end up with NSF Heat, I think. Other than that, it's copycat all over, of course. Swapping the engines just like they do in Forza. You can now do it as well in Need for Speed. Playing around with the cups, which is typical customization, you know, all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't see myself buying Need for Speed Heat. At least not pre-order it. I might see what it's actually out there once the game is there, and then I might take a peek on it like a month or two later or so, but not gonna bother too much about it. We keep playing this one already for the bigger map. I have a problem with those small maps. That's already like a thing to get bored as it is. And other than that, on the side we are playing The Division now, which is also a pretty cool game. And we combine that. And that is fine. Next to that, I also have Forza Horizon 4, but for that game I just, as always, try to keep everything completed. So I just do like 5 to 10 minutes a week to get the seasonal event card that week or something. But that's not hardcore or good enough to make a video about things like that. So, and it also doesn't work. It especially on YouTube, my channel is more of a the crew channel. Forza, if I do a Forza video, 20-30 views or so on it, so it does not really help anybody. So I can save my time there recording the stuff as well and just quickly do it, and that's it. Other than that, we want this thing. Oh yeah, what we can do, of course, forgot about that. Seeing that thing is in there, we can test drive it, right? Or at least for a couple of seconds. Let's have a look. I thought the thing was in the menu already. The car that we can win this week. Summit reward. Ah. Here it is. Oh my god. Tip as hell. Understeers, like, yeah, probably, yeah. One relates to the other. If it's tip as hell, then you have understeer, that's crazy. Dear! Oh my god. It also doesn't want to roll from one corner to another. Nope. Understeer into a car. We definitely need to change the settings once we have this car. Other than that, it's not that much difference with the 812 Superfast by the looks of it. But yeah, I always forget about that. If it's in the menu, you can look at it, and if you come out of that menu, you will see the car standing here. You can just walk up here and you can test drive it for, what is it, 30 seconds or something? and I'm assuming yeah, it's a Ferrari, so we're never sure about that. But I assume you can change a few things on it, but probably not that much since it's Ferrari licensing and all that kind of stuff. You usually can't mess too much about it. Maybe a different color on the to separate the wing or so, something like that. But and of course you can change the color probably. But it's pretty okay with black wheels on the yellow. Maybe if they have some cool blue. I'd rather have blue than yellow, but that's personal taste, obviously. Let me see what was exactly in the bundle this week. I haven't checked that. Spirit of England is available as well. Let's see what is in there. An Exige Rallycross. Sagaris. Nah. I have the Griffith, and that drives pretty smooth, so I don't need that Sagaris. The Zagato, on the other hand, something that I might buy. The Exige in dirt was a pretty good car though in the Crew 1, so probably one day or another we're gonna have to use that one as well. Let's see what was in the bundle. A Ford Focus, which nobody is using in that Ford Street Race, but hey, you get a Ford Focus. A 2010, there's also a 2016 in the game, but the Ferrari F40 Le Mans, which probably also nobody's using. I think the FXKK is probably the best. The FXXK. The Mustang we won in a few summits ago, so most people will have that. The Berlinetta we bought. Ford GT we bought a couple of summits ago because we needed it. So yeah, those first two, I don't even know what they're doing in the bundle. The FXXK was a season pass vehicle, so most people have that, and it's also the best Ferrari, I think, touring car wise. And the Ford Focus, yeah, not in a million years you're gonna be on the top of a leaderboard with that thing. That's another one of those things that they should consider, is like separate those classes. Might be a good car if you compare it to other hot hatches like the Golf and the Civic and the Abarth and stuff like that. Some sort of hot hatch category. Then the Ford Focus might have a shot, but not against Hurricanes and other stuff, or in this case Ford GT. Or even the Mustang is faster than this thing. So the only thing we still have to buy, that's why I need to buy them separately. I don't need the other cars from that bundle. The 812 Superfast, which is 1.2 million. So I'm about 400,000 short. So that's like, yeah, a 30-minute trip to New York. And then start there towards San Francisco. And then we have it, pretty much. That's what I usually do, to grind some money. But I do not have the time for that now. So we'll do that tomorrow or so. And then I still have to do the summit with my other driver as well, because also there did not have the time to do summit this week much. But we got it. And if I find the time tomorrow, so I will do the 812, and then we have 1.3 million, which guarantees us the platinum for this week. Yeah, exactly. It's like with most of the cars. Even that was already the case in the Crew 1. I never understood that very well. You had those different classes and they never used it. You had obviously you have the bikes, you have hot hatches, you have sports car, you have supercars, you have hypercars. Now they separated it, the hypercars, into a different discipline. But then you have the sports cars and the supercars all together in street race. Next to that you have some pickups, you have SUVs, that kind of stuff, hot hatches. That should all be separate categories. They are separate categories, but they don't do anything with those categories. That's a bit of a wasted opportunity, in my opinion. Also, those are things that over the years on the Crew 1 we have mentioned that several times, but I'm assuming it's still somewhere in their laptop. One day or another they might take the idea and actually do something with it. But we'll see. We will see what will be coming and how much they do with it, and in the next 12 to 15 months or whatever it will be. We will see. There are a few things which kinda interested me that is coming, so we will see when it's there what we do with it. That will be it for this one, guys. I'm out of here for now. We'll see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.